Well, Hawaii's cost of living isn't the only thing driving families to move out of state.
In our Covering the Cost series, Annalisa Burgos talks to nonprofit Holomua Collective about its recent survey and legislative bills aimed to keep workers here in Hawaii.
Low-income families aren't the only ones trying to make ends meet in Hawaii. Holomua Collective's 2025 affordability survey shows those earning six-figure salaries are feeling more pressure to leave, not just because of the cost of living, but also the lack of opportunity and higher pay elsewhere.
On paper, our wages actually might look pretty good, and the moment you adjust them for inflation, it's actually quite bad.
75% of those surveyed said they're considering moving to a less expensive state, even though most like their jobs here. The good news, people would stay if they see more affordable housing and better wages. So how do you create a dedicated housing supply for local workers?
It is unconstitutional under the federal constitution to say only local residents could buy these homes.
A proposed Kama'aina Homes program would allow the state and counties to help home buyers with their down payment in exchange for a deed restriction that requires the home be owned by a local worker forever.
Because anybody could also come here and work locally, but then they're also part of the local workforce.
A complementary bill would require 80% of units in new developments be reserved for buyers with deed restrictions.
By market forces, that would probably drive down the value of the home because you've restricted the pool of future potential purchasers. But that's also the point, because now you've created essentially two parallel markets. One market for all homes and one market for just local workforce housing.
Holomua Collective also says the state needs to support workforce development and business revitalization. Measures include creating a more business-friendly climate and modernizing the Enterprise Zone program. Find a link to Holomua Collective survey and watch the full episode on demand on our website. And catch Covering the Cost with Annalisa Burgos on Wednesdays at 12:30 p.m. online on H&N's live streaming app and anywhere you get your podcasts.